Hello, everybody. Ching, ching. Ching, ching. There we are. Welcome to the Creative Smartphone Photography Show for another week. Better late than never. A little bit late, but so I've got my Smurfs. I'm rocking the Smurfs today. And in the blue corner, in the green corner, I have this. I have to be careful or I'll end up dumping a green smoothie on my computer. First quiz of the day. What is in my green smoothie? Me trying to be healthy. So let's see what it's like, shall we? It's amazing. I recommend you try it. So special prize for the person who guesses at least 3 of the ingredients in my green smoothie. Answers on a postcard or in the chat. Say hello. We're going to look at your photographs from the week's theme, which was wheels going round and round, and we had a lot of really cool photographs to look at. So we're going to look at those. I'm going to show you my week's production from my photographs and talk about a bit of this and a bit of that. Say hello. Even if you're watching on the replay, say hello. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to know what's up with you. What have you created this week? What have you photographed? That is my question. So shall we jump straight into it? As you can see, I was going to shave for you today and didn't. Here are the shots from this week's quiz, which was not this week's quiz. Talking of which, I need you to tell me what the theme should be for the coming week. Here are some of the photographs, all of the photographs, in fact, from last week's theme, which was wheels. Right at the top of the group, in the Creative Smartphone Photography group, there is a new poll. And the choices for the coming theme are birds, blue, windows, and books. And at the moment, books is winning. So whichever one you like, you can actually vote for more than one. So you can go for birds and books if you like, or windows and blue. And you might end up doing pictures of blue windows for all I know. Okay, just let me have a comment. Send a comment if you can, so that I know that I'm live and you can hear me. Even if it's just to say hello, who you are, and where you are watching from. So I would like to know what you have taken photographs of this week. It could be wheels, and how did you find it? If you tried to take pictures of wheels, did you find it a tricky theme? Did you find it an easy theme? How was it for you? Because you know, sometimes themes that seem easy are difficult. Some that seem difficult, you suddenly start seeing them everywhere. So let me know. So I was going to say in no particular order, but it's actually in the order of the page. Probably with the latest shots first. This is Beatrice. She says, I'm on a train back from a family lunch. Now, she wasn't sure if this qualified as a wheel or not. Well, it goes round and it's got spokes, but it just hasn't got the outside bit. But wheels, themes are for you to interpret. So it's up to you. It doesn't matter if it doesn't look like a wheel. In fact, it's actually more interesting if it isn't. Having said that, if you stray too far from the theme, we might not really realize that it's supposed to be part of the theme. So yeah, there needs to be something that probably goes round, spokes, an outside bit. Apart from that, it's up to you. And in fact, there's lots of wheels which are not actually attached to vehicles. That's the most obvious, isn't it? Vehicles. So it's a beautiful atmospheric shot. You have beatified it, I see, or beatified it. Heavy sort of orange there. The clouds look gorgeous. And those stark silhouettes, I don't know if it's a coincidence, but both of those, I think in French, I can never pronounce it, éolien, something like that. They're in exactly the same position, almost, which is really impressive. That's a beautiful repetition. You've got one is bigger and one is smaller. So you have the feeling that one is nearer, one is further. But there's the repetition of the, what do you call them in English? Those big wind turbines, something like that. Repetition is a powerful factor in photographs. Simplicity is as well. There's nothing really getting in the way. Okay, you can't get rid of this thing. It happened to be there. But still, it's a landscape taken out of a moving train window, I think. So you've really also focused on, I don't know if you've played around with the sort of a vignette effect, but you've darkened the top right and the bottom right, which really makes us focus on those very stark images. These are quite controversial in France. Some people don't like them. They think they ruin the landscape, but they make money for communities and mayors and things like that. So, you know, it's one of those contentious issues. I've got Beatrice is saying, hello, Seb. Hello, Bea. Nice to have you. I hope you had a nice weekend back from wherever you are. Orléans, I think it was. Thanks for saying hello. Anyone else? Say hello. All right, so great. That's a good one. Teresa. So here we get into traditional wheel territory. Having said that, it's not a traditional wheel. It's on a very fancy... Oh, actually, I can blow these up. I should blow them up for posterity, shouldn't I? Look at that. Stunning. The monochrome effect, in other words, one dominant color. In fact, yeah, I think every other color has been washed out or transformed into orange. Very, very strong effect. You should try it. If you don't habitually try monochrome effects, monochrome, the main example of that is obviously black and white. There's no color at all. But monochrome, it can be one dominant color, which is basically replaces gray. So in a black and white photograph, it's shades of gray. In a monochrome photograph with color, it's one color. It's just shades of the one color, darker and lighter. So check it out and try that. Try that just to make your photographs immediately different. Beatrice says, yes, Orléans, thank you. Okay, who else is going to say hello? If you've just joined, please say hello and tell me what you've been photographing this week. What have you been up to? Okay, let me know. So this is a great old car, isn't it? You've got in really close, Teresa, so you can really see the detail of that. You can see a reflection of the tire in the two reflections. I think the back of the thing has got two panels and they're kind of angled. So there's a double reflection, a reflection of the tire in the bottom section, a reflection in the top. And if you look out the window, you can see a modern car as well, which is quite nice. It's always nice to have repetition. Karen's here. Karen. Hi, Karen. Nice to have you. I've just wondered, maybe. Hi, Sab. Lisa is near me. Okay, I'm not quite sure what you mean by that, but let me know. What do you mean by Lisa is near me? Okay, so that's and also here's the whole thing. It's always great on cars to get in close to a corner. The second thing that goes with that is if you have a wide angle lens, in other words, one that gets loads in, not a zoomed in one, but a wide one, then you get really close and it just gets impressive. It turns a boring car into a little sort of mini monster. She hasn't gone in as close as she could because she wanted to get all of the car in. Splendid. All right. Chugging along. Now this is Dorothy, and Dorothy found a wheel. It's a spinning wheel. Is it a spinning wheel? That she found on a bag. Of course, it doesn't have to be a real wheel, does it? It's up to you. I was thinking to myself before I started talking about this that it would be nice to have a spinning wheel. Can you imagine if you had an elderly member of the family who still spun? Nobody uses spinning wheels today, do they? But just imagine if you did. You could have someone's hands on the spinning wheel holding the thread or something. That'd be amazing. Anyway, this is I don't know if it's a real wheel or a spinning wheel. I honestly don't know, but it's nice. Thank you, Dorothy. Chugging along. What else have we got? We have got, this was a big hit from Jean. I now call Jean the dumpster lady. I don't think it sounds very nice, but I said it to her and she said, yep, that's me. So I'm going with it, although I wouldn't maybe repeat it in polite company. Karen says, she said she's in Ottawa. Lisa, can you just remind me who Lisa is? I'm not quite sure who you mean by Lisa. Okay, this is great. Why? Well, what do you like about it? What do you like about this shot? Think of something and write it in the chat. I would like to know. and I will have a Smurf's schlurp of coffee. Actually, it's not exactly coffee because it's quite late. It's brown stuff. What do you like about this shot? As you're typing, let me tell you what I like. I like its simplicity. I like the fact that she's got in really close. There's no sort of distracting stuff. The texture is amazing. There's nothing better than rusty paint. I was going to say rusty paint. It's not paint that doesn't rust, but rusting metal and peeling paint. It's absolutely wonderful for photographs. There's only about 2.5 colors here. One is the lovely orangey brown on the rusting metal. The second is kind of a bluish here, almost got a grey blue, is it? And then there's definitely blue on that thing up in the top right. And then it's kind of random sort of pale grey or dark grey or white or black. So that's great. There's just something about industrial stuff. I know Beatrice likes this as well. Oh, Dorothy's here. Hello, Dorothy. I'm listening. Great, Dorothy. Thanks. What do you like about this this shot? If you do, Bear says simplicity and lighty. Lighty is a new word. I'm not sure what it means, but the lighting, maybe the lighting. Yeah, there's something about when you're out, look for rust and peeling paint, and I will love your photo by default. I had a little sort of muse to myself about shopping trolley wheels and dumpster wheels. And I thought, what's the deal with them? Why is this angle here? The great thing about photography, and it's the same about writing, it's the same about teaching English, you can talk about anything. So here we have a photograph, and I was thinking, why is it at that funky angle? What's that about? And then I realized if it wasn't at that angle and you pushed from the side, it wouldn't go anywhere. But when it's at that angle, when you push from the side, in other words, you try to turn it, the wheel is on a swivel in relation to the thing that's pulling, which is the nut at the top here. So basically it turns more easily. And I just realized that. Thank you very much. And I'm going to look at shopping trolleys now. I'm going to have I'm going to be a weirdo that looks at people's shopping trolley wheels as they're wheeling them around, and they're going to, think of whether they should call the manager or something. There you go, you see. Karen says, I have no idea who Lisa is, but she said hello from Ottawa about the time I picked in. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it there. Popped. Oh, popped in. Okay. About the time I popped in. Okay, Karen's popping in and picking up and doing all sorts of things here. So there you go. I think I've said what I need to say about that rusty wheel. From the dumpster lady, Jean, near Chicago, I think. Okay, just make sure there aren't any other. I don't think there are any other pictures there. All right, so here was me. This is a quiz, by the way. What is it? I mean, obviously it's a wheel, but do you know the vehicle? It's rather a famous vehicle, or it's a kind of famous vehicle. And I was just wondering if anyone knew what it is. I'll see if anyone guesses at all, and if it's exactly right, I'll say well done. And if it isn't, I'll give you a clue. And I've also got another couple of pictures of the whole thing. By the way, an elephant's driving it, but we'll leave that there. This is me again. Now, this is me trying to include the idea of wheels, but there aren't wheels in the picture. This is one of many strange sculptures that you find in a park called Parc de Bercy in Paris. And these things, can you see what's going on here? I'm trying to blow it up. Can you see what's going on? These are sculptures, and there's a whole row of them, and each one represents a different country, city and country. And if you look closely, you can actually see what city this is from. On here, on the bit which looks like the mouth, the chin, it says Broadway, NY. And in the middle of his or her chest, it says City of NY. and probably on the eyes as well. So what the sculptor has done, they've gone to each city, and I don't think these are taken from the city. I think they're imprints. They're imprints of stuff you find on the road, and they've then created them again. And you see, this is a grid. This is a sort of grid that makes the hair. It looks like the sort of grid that would go around a tree in Paris on the ground. So these are drain covers. Drain covers, I'm a big fan, by the way. Any drain cover fans here? So it's the place wheels go. So wheels will have run over these drain covers many, many times, even if they're just molds of drain covers. And I thought that was, it was kind of an interesting twist on it. They are twisted and buckled, maybe because so many cars have driven over them. So that was pretty original. By the way, can you see anything slightly strange about this photograph? I'm not a fan of taking pictures of other people's art. This is somebody else's sculpture. Well done them. But I'm a photographer. I'm a creative photographer, apparently. So I should be adding something. Okay, I've played around with the colors a bit, but it would still just be a picture of their thing. But if you look down in the bottom right, there's a couple of crazy rabid dogs running around, which, do they have rabid dogs in New York? I'm not sure, but at least it adds that extra little bit of something, which is unique to me. I'm the only person who will ever get this picture with a black dog being chased by a creamy one in that particular position. So there you go. What do you do to make your photos unique? And if you don't, maybe you should. It can be as simple as putting your hand in the shot. I took a shot recently. I wonder if I've got it somewhere. It was locks on the river. There was one little red lock. It was actually on the bridge going over the Seine to this. There was one little red lock. I looked at it, and it would have been, do you know the love locks of Paris? Like the lovers put them on the bridge and then they throw the key in the river, very ecologically friendly. And then the ships run aground on the mountain of keys underneath. They're sued, taken to prison, and die years later, ruining the day that they put their lock on the bridge. But apart from that, it said 2010 on it. Oh God, I wonder if I could find this for you. I don't know. You'll see it anyway later at some point. And then there was a boat coming. So I had the lock on the bridge. A boat was coming. There was a bridge in the distance as well to sort of echo the theme of a river. And it was okay, but it was still a bit sort of, lacking something. And I just right at the last minute, I thought I'd grab the lock in my hand and take a photograph like that. The boat was still coming. The lock was in my hand. My hand cast a shadow on one half of the lock, which made it more interesting than it was before. And it just became more human somehow. So anything you can do to add to whatever's in front of you, add something, make it your photograph. Otherwise, what's the point? Might as well be a catalogue shot. Nazanin, I looked at this shot and I thought, nice lamppost. Why did you put a picture of a lamppost? But the thing with Nazanin is she puts a link to her photographs on Google, but try to put the picture, everybody, try to put your pictures directly in. Otherwise, we might not see them. And also people, sometimes they don't click away. That's a great row of bikes. I saw lots of rows of bikes in Paris as well yesterday. That's great. I like the little, the echo of the red round bit up in the top left there, the underground sign. And there's a red jacket too. So red is the color for that one. Thank you, Nazanin. And I think there might be another one somewhere. This was me trying to inspire you right at the beginning of the week. That's what I tried to do. This is from a long time ago. It's the big wheel, Paris big wheel. And well, there's an example of me not just taking a picture of the wheel, and not just taking a picture of the statue. If I had the wheel in front of me, I'd look around for a way to add something to the wheel, like the statue. If I had the statue, I'd look around me to try and add something to the statue, like a bird standing on its head or something strange happening behind. Very often you can juxtapose two things, which you have to have the idea in your head to do it. Otherwise, you just won't think of it. And it might be that you've got to move in order to make that happen. You know, let's say you've got two statues like this. Let's say two, I don't know, male statues like this. One is, but they're they're distant to each other. And if you move around, you might be able to get it to the point. Let me just show you what I'm trying to say here. You know, if you've got these two statues, two big hunky men, let's say, and it's okay. But if you moved around a bit, you might be able to get them so they're actually, you know, giving each other a kiss or something like that. You know, a bit like, you know, this, if I took this from a different angle, it would look like this. So, you know, you can get strange things happening like that, and you should. Okay, my something interesting has happened, and that is my computer has just decided to. I have to rearrange my screen here. I've got these two streams. I lose the connection to one of them. Let's see. What can you see there? All right, we're back in business for now. By the way, another thing I think you should do is repurpose your stuff. Why should you just be a photographer? I repurposed this and I inspired myself to write words. And this is what I did. You can see it's clearly inspired by the photograph because of the shape of the poem. I don't always do that. Most of my poems don't necessarily follow the shape of something so blatantly. But why not? There aren't barriers. There aren't lines between you, the photographer, you, the painter, you, the poet. You could stick a photograph on a painting and paint over it, leaving bits of it showing. There don't have to be any boundaries. So find the things that you like, and if you like, try to combine them. If you like words, if you write words, why don't you include words on your paintings if you're a painter? You know, just little snippets. It could be snippets of a poem. It could be other people's, but why other people's? Why? Be creative 100%. It doesn't matter. If you want to, you know, include cool words, you can, but from other people. But always think me, me, me in terms of creating. Try to be as original as possible. This is why I have my crusade against these sort of memes with famous quotes on. It's just, you've seen them before and they're not original. That's not really creating. So if at all possible, create everything yourself. Do I have anything else? Just Chris probably telling me what an amazing poem it is. What does she say? Nassadine says, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. And here is Nassadine with her version of the wheel. So thank you for contributing. And this is the same wheel, but it's moved. Mine is from before, and it's looking towards the Arc de Triomphe at the other end of the Champs-Élysées. This is now in the side of the Tuileries. And okay, I just have to click away here. I wonder if she took a version where the statue was in the middle. She could have done something with the statue, getting the statue completely surrounded by this wheel. Would that be interesting? Well, I think it would be worth trying. At least I think it would be worth trying, just in case. You never know. As a sort of rule of thumb, when you're taking a shot, when you've got something you think is worth taking a shot of, it's probably worth taking about 3 or 4 from 3 or 4 different positions. I mean, there's 2 obvious things. One is to move left and right, and the other is to move closer and further away, and obviously combinations of those. See what happens. I look behind me and make sure there's no one there, and then I wander backwards, moving sideways, doing all sorts of strange things, because you never know what is going to be cool, but you can guess pretty much that there's a cooler angle than the one you first saw. Why should the first way you look at it be the best? It's normally not. So be the photographer who goes the extra mile and does that. Move forwards, move backwards, move left, move right. See if there's something in the foreground that you can incorporate into the photograph, and it'll be much stronger and much more original. I've got a Facebook user saying, hi all. Facebook user, hi. Who are you? I'm not sure who you are. Let me know. So And here's Nazanin with, no, I'm pretty sure this is Paris. Yeah, this is Paris. And then this one is the Big Wheel in London. What a superb sky. That's ridiculous. What? That's a really good sky, isn't it? Hang on, here it comes. God, that bridge reminds me of a Paris bridge, actually. You know, there was a wobbly bridge, the famous London wobbly bridge. They didn't quite get it right and it wobbled and they had to sort of do it again. And Paris has got a bridge or two where you can jump up and down and yeah, it moves a little bit. Looking towards, look, that looks like Big Ben with scaffolding all over it. There's the other Palace of Westminster Tower. And yeah, I'm not a big fan of London, to be honest. You know, I grew up sort of in the suburbs of London, but never did it for me. And some of my French friends dream of going to London. Oh, if only I could go to London. Why? The only thing I wanted to do was leave it. But that's the way it goes. I think I'm Facebook user Chris. Hello, Facebook user Chris. Oh, that's interesting. We haven't got to your photographs yet, Chris. So you're on time for you, which is the most important thing, isn't it? Selfish. Anyway, yeah, you have to give permission to StreamYard to know who you are. I wonder if I can tell you how to do that. You probably know. I, for some reason, can't show you how this time, but we'll do that some other time. You have to go to streamyard.com/Facebook, I think, and just say yes. So let's see if we can find one of Chris's photographs. This is Beatrice. She wrote, "It's a wheel." I'll just get rid of that. Chris telling us it's her. If you're trying to post comments, I've got a message here. It says, "Can't post comments to some destinations, learn more." I'm not sure if I should learn more now because it might ruin everything. No, I don't think I want to do that, actually. Let's keep it going. So Beatrice says, "Wheel to open a storage unit for archives where I work." And, you know, between you and me, she wasn't sure about this photograph. And I said, "What are you talking about? It's great. I love it." I even made one of my inevitable jokes. That looks like a serious storage unit. So how many hands or legs do the folks where you work have? Because it looks like you need 3 hands to open it. Well, it's kind of interesting why there are 3 things, isn't it? I mean, maybe it's just to, I don't know, you find your own theory. I don't know, do I? But I love the treatment. I love the beification. Many of myself and many of the people that I have, you know, talked to photography about go over the top a little bit on saturation. And I am absolutely guilty of it. It's not a sin, you know, but there comes a time when you should just chill out on the old saturation, go for a paler look. And that's what she's done here. It's very soft. It's lovely. There's very soft tones of grey blue, maybe, and then sort of creamy beige and a sort of silvery metal. And that's about it. It's soft. I like the angle. I like this thing in the top left, sort of breaking that up. It's just very interesting. How do you make a handle interesting? Well, it's not always that easy. And there it is. She could have put a hand on it. That's one thing she could have done. This is definitely a choice. You could do both. You can have one with a hand, one without the hand, or 2 hands, or even 3 hands. But then you've got to make a choice in the end. I mean, yeah, you can show people more than one version, but in the end, which is the version you're going for? I like it. I love the softness of this. So I will be, I need you to tell me what you think the theme for next week should be. Chris, I know you give us lots of ideas, and I'm not sure, I'm not convinced I've noted them. But if you want to leave some comments here, this is at the top of the group, and here are the possibilities: birds, blue, windows, or books. And you can choose more than one if you want. Only, you know, don't choose all 4, otherwise there's no point. You know, you can choose 2 or even 3, but yeah, choose your 2 favorites, and we'll see which one it is for next time. For some reason, birds has got 1% vote out of, I don't know how that's possible, but so you can do 2 things. Choose what you would like the theme to be next week. Choose up to 2 options if you like, and also in the comments, let me know your ideas, and I'll just keep doing it like this. I'll just give you a choice each week. Every time one is chosen, it'll disappear and be replaced by another one. Okay. By the way, there is a competition at the moment. What's in my green smoothie? The first person to guess at least 3 ingredients will win a fabulous prize or something. What's in my green smoothie? That is the question. This made me think of the 3-legged Isle of Man flag, which is this. Did you know that the Isle of Man has a 3-legged flag symbol? That's it. And then 𝗚𝗏 says, oh, that's interesting. There's a symbol, an antique symbol of Trinacria, which is Sicily, which looks like this. So, you know, you live and learn, don't you? Wonder if that gets bigger. No, it doesn't. Yes, it does. That's even weirder than just the 3 legs. A head stuck in the middle of 3 legs. I wonder why. Does anybody know? Okay, Jean, the dumpster lady, remember, is also the fan lady, and she gave us 2 options. And I'm a fan of this. In this group, in our creative photography group, feel free to give us 2 versions and ask us which we prefer, because you can really learn from it, and you can learn from other people's photographs. You can learn from your own as well. There's 2 versions of the same shot. Which do you prefer? This is a textbook thing that you should do. Feel free to do this. And it gets more interaction. This is a photo of the wheel on an 𝗚𝗏𝗢 exercise bike in motion. Oh my God, I called it a fan. It's not, it's an exercise bike. And I said, well, there's a few people liking one or the other. I said, I think the colored one for the multi-colors, but because there's 2 different colors, but the one on the right is the monochrome one, is much more striking. Keep your fingers away from those spokes in any case. Jean subtly said, you'd have to be pretty stupid to get your fingers in the spokes. The fan wheel is covered with a wire cage. And I reminded Jean that she should never let my inner idiot be underestimated. What did I go for? Well, I like the color because it's just 2 shades of color, which is really nice. It's kind of subtle, but this one is punchier, the one on the right. If I had to go for the punchier shot, the one that really is more dynamic, like for an illustration in a magazine, for example, I guess it would be the one on the right, for sure. Let's make them nice and big. It's all about getting up close and personal. There you go. Thank you for playing. The arms remind me of the old 45 disc. Oh my God. You used to put in center of your records. You know what? I actually half know what you're talking about, Chris. I think it's Chris. I really do. That reminds me of something. Yeah. To kind of keep them flat or to... Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. The old 45, some of them had a complete hole in the middle because they'd been used in a jukebox or a machine. Yeah. And if they had the hole and you wanted to put them on a record player with a tiny little thing sticking up, you had to have this adapter. Oh my God. Blast from the past. We're getting to the end of these photographs. Then I will tell you about, if you have some photographs you would like me to talk about, ask me in the chat, put them in. I'm not sure if I can see them now. It's a bit late, but if you have any questions on my photographs, anything at all, or anything, just anything. What are you up to this week? What's the weather like where you are? And can you photograph it? So this was one of the first ones from 𝗚𝗏𝗢 with some odd shadows. Why are these shadows odd? Someone thought they were odd. And I had a bit of a discussion about this. And there's a couple of things. You see, it looks like there's 2 bikes, and yet this shadow at the bottom left is big and round, and this one is more oval. But if you look closely, you can actually see that the bike on the left is leaning, and the light source is up on the wall above the writing. So the light source is actually shining more directly onto the left back wheel, making more of a circle, whereas it's more directly onto this one, making it more of an oval. And also she's put a sort of soft effect around it, a soft vignette, not either a white vignette, so it's getting paler, or a selective focus vignette. So in the middle it's sharp, and on the outside it goes fuzzy. It's one or the other or both, I don't know. And it's great. I love it. Also, I know it was taken at night, so color goes a bit strange at night. It disappears to an extent. It also goes more orange depending on the type of street light there is. And then you can make it orange yourself if you like, or you can bring it back to normal colors, but then you lose, if it's an orangey light, that really suggests nighttime. And if you bring it back, you make it more blue, so it looks more like it's during the day, you lose the atmosphere of the shot. You can take a day shot where the lighting is more blue. In other words, it just looks like a normal standard, rather cold day shot. And you can turn it orange if you like. You can imitate. So that's quite good with cafes. If you're in a boring cafe in the daytime and you'd like it to be more romantic, more atmospheric, cozy, after you've taken it, or before in some cases, but the easiest is after you've taken it, you can change the color balance and make it warmer, make it more orange, basically. And you can turn a boring cafe into a romantic one. Oh my God, illusions shattered. I'm not sure if we have any more photographs in the comments here. No. Oh, bikes. Yeah, bikes are great, aren't they? For I've got a photograph which I haven't included here. Maybe I will. It's a bike that was fished out of the Seine. One of these hire bikes. They're not as bad as scooters, put it that way. But some people's hobby on a Friday night is to throw the bikes in the river, throw the hire bikes in the river, or the scooters. I don't mind about the scooters, that's fine. But, you know, it's a bit of a shame to put the bikes in the river. So every now and then there's this squad of dun, 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 dun. They go into their boats and they dredge the bottom of the river, the Seine, and they pull out bikes. And I remember seeing once there was just a graveyard of bikes on the side of the Seine. It was really impressive. I've got a picture which I will contribute after this. It's just an absolutely gorgeous bike. It looks like it's living. It's like those buildings where you've put a living wall on it. Well, this is like a living bike. It's pulled out of the Seine and it's green. It's really impressive. Chris, your moment of glory has come. Wheels of cheese cake, all in jest. I've just realized there might be a play on words there. Ingest. Did you ingest all of these cakes, Chris? Probably not a good idea if you did. So Chris is actually, you know, really twisting it. She really just wanted to take pictures of cakes and desperately tried to find a way of pretending that they were wheels. I wouldn't want to ride on too many of those. It would be a bumpy ride, or rather a squidgy one. So yeah, but they do look like spokes, isn't it? Very, very clever. I've never seen cakes divided up like that. It's probably an American thing. Americans are good at doing things with cakes, aren't they? So that's nice. There's more comments just in case I'm missing it. No, we're okay there. This is me. This is probably my favorite wheel shot of all time that I've taken. I've taken shots like this before. It's often tempting when you see a row of bikes, but again, make sure you. There's a great one by 𝗏𝗏 coming up, by the way. They, you know, even then, just because you've got what looks like the ideal photographic thing, you know, an impressive row of something, doesn't mean the photograph's going to be impressive. You've got to move around, put the camera up, down, getting close. Otherwise, it'll still be, you know, a crappy photo of an interesting subject. You, the photographer, have a job to do and a role to play. Any good photographer, experienced photographer with a good eye, can make a subject better. However good the subject is, they can make it better. And if it's crap, they can make it okay. And if the subject is still crap and they don't have much experience, it'll be a crap photo of a crap subject. So you've got a good subject, don't stop there. Make sure you apply all your ideas to make it, I mean, what have I done here? I can't, having said that, I'm looking at this now thinking, did I actually do what I'm talking about? Well, I tried very hard to get in close. When you get in close to a row like this, the one nearest you is noticeably bigger and the one furthest away is noticeably smaller. That's a nice effect. And also I've gone for the diagonal. You know, it goes nicely from the bottom left to the top right, which is good. And you know, with bikes, the wheels are cool, but the rest of the bike's a mess. You know, it's just this mishmash of pipes and, you know, there's black tubes and there's silver tubes, there's handlebars and getting in the way and pedals. It's a bit of a mess, especially when you've got a whole bunch of them together. So you've got to try and eliminate that. So I've really tried to get rid of all of the bike except the wheels. I've done what I could and it's okay. Well, I like it. Also, the fact that it's bright red with the black tires, that's pretty impressive. So this was another one of my my inspirational ones for you guys. This is the wheel that Nazanin took, that I took before. It's in the same position as the one where I had it around the statue's head, and it's a completely different look. Now we just got a comment from 𝘚𝘢𝗣𝗏. They fish bikes out of the canal here every year. What is it about throwing bikes into the canal? Well, look for when they do, and you might get an interesting photo, 𝘚𝘢𝗏. This is one of my a photograph I really like as well. There's just something really strange about it, really mysterious. I can't remember now how I did this, but the base photo obviously wouldn't have looked like this, but it had to look a bit like this. And I think what I did is I'm firing into the sun. You can see the sun in the middle of the shot behind that cabin there. So when you fire into the sun, the camera says, whoa, we've got a lot of light here. Let's shut down the exposure. And it turns everything else dark. It turns it into a silhouette if you're not careful. I didn't let it turn everything into a silhouette because you can still see the detail here, but I did let it do it a bit so that you've got this dramatic lighting. And I didn't take the whole of the wheel. You take the whole of the wheel, okay, it's a wheel, but sometimes the details are much more impressive. You can also get closer. You know, I don't need 50 cabins, but if I've got 7 cabins and the curve, you can see it's a wheel. I've got some of the spokes. I've put the middle of the wheel up in the top left corner, which allows the spoke effect very nicely to come out from the corner. There's that lovely curve with the cabins. And then to fill in the bottom right, I took this a while ago, so I'm kind of looking at it to see what I've done. In the bottom right is something of interest to fill it in. It looks like a nail, which this wheel is about to land on and puncture itself, or you know, give one of the riders a bit of a shock. It's the obelisk from Place de la Concorde. So there you go, and it's also it's almost monochrome, isn't it? There's very little color at all. There's a hint of yellow to give the idea of the sun coming out from behind the cloud, and the rest of it is pretty gray with maybe a hint of blue. So it's yeah, mean and moody, delicious. And this is an example of, don't just be a photographer. If you do something else, why not combine 2 of your passions? So I like playing with words, so this became a poem as well as a picture. I don't always play around with the shape, but in this case and with the wheel earlier, I was tempted. So there you go. You can read that in your own time. Not sure what that's about. Circles, by the way. Now this one from Rob. Hello, Rob. I'm never quite sure how to take Rob. Normally, I think he's being facetious more often than not. I asked him the theme was wheels, and I asked everybody to leave a comment. I don't like naked pics. In other words, pictures with no text, no explanation at all are not allowed because it's boring and I don't get to know you and intimate details of your life and where you were when you took the shot and what you were wearing and that sort of thing. So here Rob has done exactly that. He's gone to town. He's given too much information, Rob. He's put the word wheel. A man of few words is our Rob. Thanks for playing, Rob. Thanks for playing. And as I said here, I'm not going to argue with him just for the sake of arguing. This is Chris, or rather, this is Chris's photograph. Very interesting. Did you line this up? I mean, I don't suppose you have these lying around in your garden just like that, do you? I suppose you. But then again, do you really have a collection of old odd wheels as well to be able to make this shot. Curiouser and curiouser, Chris. I'm really starting to wonder what's going on here. Lovely, lots of shades of grey, although it's moving towards a very stark, almost silhouette shot. I was going to say there aren't that many shades of grey. It's got quite contrasty. In other words, the whites are pretty white, the blacks are pretty black, and there's only a few shades of grey in between. Otherwise, it would be a very soft picture. But here it's quite contrasty, and the ground as well is very nice and sharp. So with a lot of texture. So it's a really interesting shot, and you've got a nice sort of curve coming around there. Great composition. It just leaves me with this sort of burning question: why do you have all these wheels? Maybe you've been saving them up for the day, the week. That was the theme of the week. Maybe, who knows? All right, I think we're near the end of this. I did want to show you some of my photographs as well. So thanks for playing. Okay, here's Dorothy. Beautiful shadow. Look at that. Very simple, lovely curve though. This is like the dumpster lady's wheel, isn't it? It's off to the side so that it can be moved easily without dragging the wheel crosswise across the floor. It swivels. This is the new thing I learned today, with a beautiful shadow and a lovely treatment as well, nice and soft. Very sort of soft and airy photograph from Dorothy there. Thank you. This is Bear. I think this might be the first one, and it's one of my favorites. It's the row of wheels. What has she done? Well, she's decided not to do what I did and take it from the side, but to take all the other wheels can be seen through each other, which is great. So she's gone slap bang onto the wheel, staring at the wheel so she could see the others through it. But she hasn't gone, well, you can't take the photograph from the middle because this is in the way, but because she's slightly off to the side, you've still got the effect of the wheels going into the distance, but in this case, they go into the distance inside each other, which is really cool. And also, as someone pointed out, I think it might have been Rob, with a few more words this time. He liked, was it Rob? He liked, yeah, but one image, the repetitive swoop of the fender is eye-catching. And I can't agree more. This green, you can see the repetition of the green. Look, 1, 2, the edge of it there, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those little green pointy bits going into the distance as well. The rest, the outside has been fuzzed out. Great, I love it. I love the colors as well. It's quite soft colors, but somehow punchy. doesn't think. There you go. So I think that's it. I think we're at the end of our photographs. Thank you, everybody, for contributing to that theme. There's too many nice ones for me to... what I thought I would do is maybe do a little composition where I put 2 or 3 of my favorites of the week in the header of the group for a couple of days. So check that out at some point this week. And well done, everybody. So all you have to do, I'm going to show you some of my photographs now before we finish on the hour. And remember, I'm hoping that you will go to the top of the group and choose next week's theme. There it is. Birds, blue, windows, or books. You can choose 1 or 2, and we'll see who wins. And it'll be announced shortly, announced tomorrow, probably. And then you can get your thinking caps on again. Invite a few people to the group if you can, or if there's people that you know who are in the group who aren't receiving the messages, for example, get in touch with them and let them know that we're alive and kicking again. Let me show you a couple of my my photographs. So this is the last chapter. Any questions you have, by the way, questions or comments? As you look at these, choose one immediately that strikes you and tell me why. Tell us why. Okay, that'll be interesting. It's great to analyze photographs. If one of these strikes you, what is it that strikes you? I mean, you could say that there's some that you don't like. That's fine, you can, although it's not particularly constructive. It's more constructive to say, I love this because. And if you don't like one, it's probably not, not gonna teach us much by you just saying that I don't like it. But if you do like something, say why, and you'll see if other people will agree. So this was my lion one. We've seen some of these last week. So I'm just going to zoom through these. I think the ones, maybe this was the last one I showed you. I told you how much I'm in love with this photograph. It's irrelevant if it's your photograph or not. I recommend you be in love with your photographs. I said it last week, I'll say it again. Be in love with your photographs. Why not? I assume you like taking photographs, so love your photographs. And this one is just bowled me over with the two birds there. Just so cool. I love it. And the color of the sky. I think these ones are new. So this was why on earth did I take this photograph? Now, some of my shots try to be artistic and some of them are Paris curiosities. This is the first time in all my 30 years here that I have discovered a one-railed vehicle. One-railed. Can you see it? You see the rail in the middle there? Which is kind of weird. I thought, wow, what is going on? It took my son to tell me about this. It's a tram. It does have wheels. It has tires. I didn't take them. I didn't take a picture of the tires. You can't really see them. So there are two big fat tires on either side. I mean, more than two. But the thing is, there's a rail in the middle that keeps it on track. How curious. There's only two lines near Paris that have that. So that was a curiosity. I was pleased to find that. This is my self-portrait series. I'm getting this up to date. In other words, I'm putting them together into chapters of 9. And it's really, really scary. But it's really, really challenging to try to never take pictures of yourself regularly. I know, Karen, you do a lot of self-portraits. Anyone can do this. You've got a camera. But when I'm talking about taking pictures for yourself, don't call them selfies. Call them self-portraits. The challenge is to never take a picture that looks like any others. And I use props normally to do that. So I got this, I wonder if I've got it somewhere. Yeah, this little thing here. I just saw it in a a cafe or something. It's for an escape game, the game, Escape If You Can. And I grabbed it. I didn't know why I grabbed it, but I grabbed it. And sure enough, I got not only a photograph, a pretty striking photograph out of it, but also a text. I enjoyed writing as well. I can't remember what I wrote, but you never know. So collect props. For self-portrait, collect props like I did, and then use them later. Or keep your eyes open as you're wandering around and look for posters. Often posters have strange slogans for their product, which can often be applied to you as a human with a sort of slight twist or a bit of humor or something like that. So check those out. Karen says, my self-portraits are never from photos. Yeah, well, I'm suggesting to some people, if they like the idea, to take photographs of themselves. Your self-portraits, yeah, they're always unique. I don't know how people manage to keep doing the same subject. I guess you can change the types of pens you're using. You can change the style of the drawing, or add color, have a different expression on your face. So yeah, I suppose, again, like anything, imagination is the limit. And then this one is simply about the bag. Just kind of weird. One of those strange things you see is just waiting for trains. You see odd things. Here's a guy, it says on his bag, if you're reading this, it's too late. and I then was wondering what it was too late for. I might as well read this. Why don't I read this? Too late for what, you might ask? For love, Def Leppard would say. No, it's never that late, right? Too Late for Love is a song by an old rock group called Def Leppard. Too late for my train? For the last one, yeah, the one before. But there's always another coming in a minute. Too late to make a difference? I try with each photo and every word to make a difference. What difference will it make? What I do? Ask Morrissey. Morrissey from the Smiths, and one of their most famous songs is What Difference Does It Make? What difference does it make, I think, yeah. Too late to buy this guy's bag? Yeah, that's clear. Although I could always ask him and see. He might sell it. Who knows? Or he might say, too late, mate. Can't you read? Too late. That's a Motorhead song. Too much too young. That's a special song. And too late to avoid this missive. you've made it to the end of this text, and so have I. A textbook case, touche. So, you know, that was fun. And it all came from having my eyes open and my camera ready when I'm in the most boring of places, like waiting for a train. There's no boring, in fact. There's just what is and what you do with it. And what I wanted to do now, I wanted to show you a picture of, let me just quickly go back before I forget, to, what was I showing you? To this, I don't know where it's gone, but this shot here. Yeah, this shot. Do you know what this is? Do you have any idea what this is? Obviously, it's a vehicle. I'll give you a clue. It's a public vehicle. What sort of vehicle do you think it is, and where do you think it comes from? Okay, that is the question. I just need one answer from somebody. What sort of vehicle? Where do you think it comes from? And then I'll show you the whole thing and tell you. This is my latest chapter. I've done all the pictures, and it's kind of different to the rest. I thought for this chapter, I realized that in my my waiting section, I had a bunch of people doing stuff or just standing around, and not much else. I didn't have any famous monuments ready, anything like that. And I thought, okay, I'm going to make this chapter just a bunch of people that I see in Paris. Because as I say, sometimes I don't choose what I photograph. I go to Paris and I wait and see what Lady Eiffel offers me. And this, for this chapter, it's a strange chapter. What I try to do is, because I do this so often, you know, every 9 days there's a new chapter. So every 9 days I can just do random shots again, or I can try to put something together as a sort of cohesive unit. It's like composition, one level up. You've got the composition of the photograph. And then what about trying to consider the 9 photographs, or more than one photograph if you take several photographs together? Why don't you try composition? It could be 4 photographs, like in a square, 1, 2, 3, 4, with something linking them together. It could be the same subject taken from different angles, or it could be different subjects with a link between them. And of course, it doesn't have to be square. It could be anything you like. It could be a circle, it could be a line, it could be a diagonal. I've done a diagonal here. I don't know if you noticed, but I did something which I don't normally do. And because I don't normally do it, I can do it from time to time. Let me show you. This is the first one I'm going to show you. This is the second one. And this is the third one. So as you can see, it's the same photograph. I'm just zooming in, getting closer and closer to the guy and his family who are begging for money in the middle of a station platform, a busy station platform. And you can, and I've changed the colors a bit, and it's kind of weird, you know, you see all these people hanging around, and it's, you can almost miss the sort of human tragedy that's going on here. You could get into questions as to, you know, whether they're playing the system or you know, are they real refugees, or is it, but I mean, my God, you know, there's the guy there with 3 of his kids in the middle of a station begging for money. It's not pleasant to see that. And what do you do when you see that? You know, you're an averagely affluent Parisian worker, for example, coming down the steps, and you're confronted by this in your face as you get off the escalator. There they are. You can't sort of miss them. So what do? Well, you avoid them, or you don't avoid them, and that's everybody's personal choice. Most people avoid them. They look at the screen above their heads and stuff. And there's no judgment here. I'm just saying what I'm observing. This is what people do. And occasionally someone will give a coin. So yeah, so I thought I would do that as one thing that's different. Another thing that's different, by the way, got a comment here from Facebook user Chris. World War II Jeep. World War II Jeep. Interesting. No. I would have put your selfie in upper right looking down. Selfie. You're maybe thinking of the last one. You're thinking of this. This one maybe? This one, upper right looking down? Yep, maybe. The thing is, my selfies are always end with a 1. So it has to be in a certain position. So I can choose, if I'm looking down, sometimes I wait. If I've got one looking down to the left, say, I might wait until the slot that's ready for it is the top right, because it moves every chapter. The space for the selfie moves one slot, because there's 9 pictures in each chapter, but I do a selfie every 10 days, so it moves. This one, for example, this one here could definitely have been looking down. Absolutely. It didn't work, and I wanted to publish it. I chose the look on my face as the sort of tortured artist. Went well with the feeling of these other pictures, and as it was, I couldn't put it in the top right, because I wanted to have these in the top right going down to the bottom left. You can't do everything, you see. You can't do everything, and it doesn't matter. Okay, the one in the top left, it's what it is. Okay, I won't talk about that too much. More interesting, I think, are the left and the right one here. It's me standing waiting for the train, and I realized that the rotting poster behind, on the other side, there's a train that goes in between the platform and this sort of colored thing. That's the wall behind where the train's going to come. And I realized it was actually sort of more artistic than some of the things you would see in the modern art gallery. I was quite impressed, but it's just sort of rotting paper or rusty something or other. And I thought, that's cool. So I just snapped away, got a couple of random people. And there's something about having the same background with a couple of random people. You know, you may think, well, I mean, I don't know what I think. That's the thing. There's no right or wrong here. There's no judgment. I'm not even judging myself. I don't know what I think about it. This just happens to be what I took. And now, a bit like if I look at a photograph that I've taken and I look at it a bit like I'm seeing it for the first time. It's the same when I read one of my old poems. I think, oh, wow, that's strange or interesting. It almost as though I hadn't taken it. So I'm looking at these almost as though I haven't taken them. And I'm thinking, I wonder what the photographer was trying to do there. And I can honestly work it out again, and in the same way as you can. So it's kind of weird, but it's kind of funny as well. So for some reason, I took these 2 guys, played around with them. It's actually kind of interesting that the slope of the platform in the one on the left continues in the one on the right almost perfectly. I didn't really do that on purpose, but that's the way it turned out. And I'm writing 2 texts which kind of go together. They're kind of 2 sides to the same coin of this photograph. I think I've just done the first one here. By the way, there's going to be a text which goes from the top right through the middle to the bottom. And the text will be 9 words. And the first 3 words are the closer they. Don't know if you can guess what it is. What do you think it is? Anybody? The closer they. I see we're up to an hour already. Oh my God, that's how time goes. I'm going to stop in a second. And I'll just blow this one up in case you want to stop the video. I won't read it. And I've exceptionally changed the background and made it yellow, as well as the frame. Yeah, try something different from time to time. All right, so I'll finish with the Jeep. No, it's not a Jeep, Chris. It is, here's a picture. It is this. This is, what is this thing? This, I just came out of the station in Paris, walked towards a place, and there was this thing here. It's actually some sort of fast food outlet. On the other side, it opens up and you can buy, I don't know, pizza or something, or cocktails. It's really, and this is an incredible old Leeds bus. It's not a London bus, although it looks like a London bus with the funny little nose thing. You know, like only half of the cabin there. There's an elephant driving it, by the way. Only half of the cabin is a cabin, and the other half is open. See if, no, you don't quite see it there. That's me. You don't quite see it, but this bit is open. That's a classic for a London bus, but this is another brand with the same sort of style. Oh, it's so grungy. It's unbelievable. Isn't it cool? And it's got a big old wheel there. Red and green go very nicely together. So that's pretty amazing. I was pretty pleased to get that. I had no idea I would. Almost didn't go into Paris. Had an idea for getting some wheel shots. And lo and behold, I was inundated, assailed by wheels from the minute I got off the train. the way you do. All right, folks, thanks very much for sticking with me. I really appreciate it. And next theme will be, I don't know yet, I'll announce it in a minute. Facebook. These are the these are the themes. Blue, what was it? Blue? Get me out of here. Blue, windows, birds, and books. And I will finish with one more thing. And please contribute. Have a go. You know, anything you like, just go for it. Contribute a photo, and that makes, you know, the photographic love go around. One other thing is, check out Today's the Day. It's my group. I'm in love with this group. I think the concept's wonderful. You treat each day as a mini life, and you notice something you're really pleased about each day. I'm developing this. I think I've got a website that is called todaystheday.rocks, and I'm going to try to start daily inspirational little snippets. So watch out for those. Join this group if you can. You don't have to contribute every day. No one's going to tell you, you know, that you should be. Well, I might. But it's just really inspiring. It's nice to share in a very, you know, gentle, friendly environment, something that you're happy with this day. And that's it. That can be all you do. Just say, oh, I did this today. I made this card today. I went for a nice walk today. Here's a picture of of a beautiful tree. It doesn't matter. But it's a way of explicitly realizing that every day is worth celebrating. And my little philosophy behind it is, if you appreciate all the days of your life, you appreciate your life. Ta-da! That is the end. End of sermon, end of the show. And thank you for watching. And I will see you again soon. And I will announce the theme very shortly. This is me, 𝘚𝘢𝘣'𝘴, signing off. Happy snapping, and talk to you again soon. Bye-bye for now.